Welcome back everybody to Sunsaw Gaming. Alright, so today we have two videos for you. But before we go into those, I do just want to apologise to those of you that have mentioned that my channel's been a bit quiet for the past week. I have been away. I haven't been at home. I haven't been able to do the videos. But the reviews that I've got in the books, they're still upcoming and I will be doing those this week. So we do have an IS3 review coming up. Which if you guys own an IS3, please send me through the replay footage. I'll be happy to use that in my review of the IS3. I don't own the tank myself, so it's something that I do need a little bit of help with, if you guys can. We do have the KV2 replay, which is also coming up. Basically, the review on the KV2, I'm going to be going over the small little derp gun and that bigger gun that nobody ever seems to use. And we're also going to be putting out a video on the best bottom tier battles, like tanks for battle. So tier 7s that would verse tier 8s, you know, tier 8s that would verse tier 9s, those sorts of things. So stay tuned, because we will be putting out those videos this week. But until then, we have Patu, and today he is driving for us the Magnus and the Annihilator. So without further ado, let us get into those videos. Alright, so for this first one, we are on Oasis Palms. Great map. Now, for those of you that missed my other videos on the Magnus, this thing is one of the more recent Battle Pass tanks that you were able to win, and it's just a reskinned M6. But along the side there, as you can see, all of that is now spaced armor, which makes this tank play just a little bit differently. Now Patu, he's not going to do the standard thing that everybody does. Now on this map, a lot of people, they love going out to the dunes, because that's generally where most teams commit all of their power. But Patu, he's turned around, he's pinged this side of the map, and heaven forbid, I mean, the entire team is actually listening and they're following behind Patu. They are coming out this way as well. And I mean, that is a massive decision. Now, a lot of times teams don't know how to play this side of the field too well, and they can be picked apart, they can be basically just shot at from the field and taken apart. But that's because they're doing the things in the wrong way. They're either advancing one by one to the front lines, trying to spot what's in the field and they're getting picked off that way, or they just don't know what they're doing. Now, unfortunately for Patu's teammate there in the medium, he does get absolutely obliterated because he went out to the field by himself. Don't do that, guys. Don't go out to the field by yourself. This KV1, he got unlucky there, and Patu manages to get a very nice shot into him. He had only just loaded into the game as Patu rounded on him, which, I mean, it sucks for you, KV1. It really does, but you got to load into battle fast, buddy. And I mean, Patu is just going to pick him apart here. Now you can see on the minimap there, Patu's team have all sort of made it all the way over to the enemy spawn side of the map here. Patu picks up the kill on that KV1, very nice, and he's now getting rushed by this Ox. Personally, in that situation there, instead of trying to ram and stop the Ox, the best thing you can do is just back your tank up to that wall so as the Ox can't circle you. Which is probably what this Ox should have done, but he didn't, which allows Patu to just turn around, drive after him, and start really putting in some damage to this guy. He does it again, he tries to get around Patu, but this time there's a rock there that stops it. Patu gets a very nice fire on him, and he now also has a teammate here who's going to help him just finish off this Ox. Doesn't really help him too much, but Patu gets the kill there, awesome job. It's now a 5 versus 5, so while Patu has killed 2 of the enemy team there, nice track shot on the enemy M6, the enemy have killed 2 of Patu's team. So, looking at the minimap, all of Patu's team are sort of cramped into this one little corner here, and again, Patu getting another nice track shot on this M6, forcing him just to use his repair kits and that sort of stuff, and I think the M6 has been shooting at Patu's teammate, who was helping him out, so he's now dead. It's now a 4 versus 4. Patu's TD has managed to pick up a kill on one of the other tanks out there, but this M6 is just cruising on in. I'm not sure what he's doing, what he's firing at, or what he's really trying to do, but he's going to die. He's going to die very, very quickly. Now, Patu not taking any risks with the ammo type there. He's just going to fire APCR rounds into the guy until he gets him. And I love this shot right here. Kudos to Patu for seeing that. He kept himself held down, only exposed his turret there, and maybe just slightly the back of his tank, and took out the enemy TD that was waiting for him. Unlucky bounce off the T-34 85's gun mantlet. I mean, that sort of stuff happens. But, I mean, it's a 3 versus 2 now. Patu's still got, you know, a good couple of shots left in him before he dies. And he's able to just use this ridgeline just to continuously pick at this T-34. Not too sure where the second medium is at this point, but it's clear that the enemy team here is not working together. Not very well, anyway. The T-34-85 goes for the easy kill there, tries to drop in on Patu's teammate, and Patu manages to get this big, beastie, ugly tank around that roadblock that he created. Well done. Now, I believe the last tank out there is an Explorer. There we go. That's the tank we're after. Now, guys, don't do this. Patu gets the shot into him, but he also gets shot in return because he can't back up. This KV-2 and this SU-100 are both blocking his retreat. Don't do that to people, guys. Don't sit behind teammates. He gets a nice lucky bounce there. I mean, he could take 2 shots from this Explorer, but if it max rolls, he could end up a 1 shot for this guy. But Patu was left with no choice but to push in on this guy, hope for those kind of bounces, and try and get the kill, just because his teammates had blocked him off. So, well done there, Patu. Right decision making. As soon as you realised you were stuck, you pushed forward and you started getting aggressive on that Explorer, which is probably what you need to do. A nice 3,634 damage with 6 kills and an ace mastery there in the Magnus. So, again, this tank was only recently brought out, and I quite like the Magnus. I do quite like the Magnus. Anyhow, we're going to jump into the next battle here. Now, this next match, Patu is driving the Annihilator. He's on Himmelsdorf, and he is lower tier, so he is tier 7 versus tier 8. And I was actually quite surprised. I mean, I've got no words. I can't even explain truly what my feelings were about the enemy team on this one. I mean, you're basically going to see Patu bully some very, very big super heavies at tier 8, which the Annihilator can't penetrate with its shells very easily. This thing does not have great pen. And you're going to see Patu do a very, very good job of it. Now, you can see he does have help coming out here. He's got the ML1 coming with him. He's got the 152 coming out here as well. I mean, the rest of his team is slowly making their way over this way. They've taken up the middle channel to Patu's right here. And they're just doing all the right things. But there's the first tank. That VK right there. Now, Patu's seen it. And Patu already knows, look, I don't have the penetration to deal with that tank, let alone the E75 behind it, as well as the other VK that's sitting there. So, he realises he can't back out. This guy's pulled himself into a spot where he's just going to be able to put a shell through Patu. So he gets himself hull down. This thing does have an amazingly great turret, so long as they don't hit the very top of it. Aims for the only weak spot that he can with his premium rounds there, and puts those shells straight through the VK. Now, this VK has already lost half of his hit points. That's to Patu and to the Emil-1, I believe. And just like that, Patu is going to get the bounce, because this guy was not able to aim correctly at the top of the hatches on this Annihilator. So, as you can see, the enemy's mediums are now trying to push through that channel behind Patu, which has diverted a lot of Patu's team's attention. Right now, there's only 3 tanks looking down this channel at these VKs. They're 101p. He's buggered off. He's like, nah, I've had enough of this. I've taken too much damage. And this VK-168 is about to be the next in line for the same punishment. He realises now why the other VK pissed off, and he starts backing around the corner too. And Patu, doing the right thing, sees a moment to be able to pull out and start getting some more damage into tanks like the C-75, who fluffs his shot immensely. And I mean, that E-75, mate, you need to learn how to play the game. I'm sorry, but you do. Go join Primetime, dude. Learn some stuff from them. Hit me up. Watch my videos. I don't know. Watch someone else's videos. Just get better. You shouldn't buy a premium tank if you don't know how to play the game. That is, of course, my own personal opinion. Now, Patu rolls around the corner here. This VK makes a massive mistake by giving Patu his broadside and gets cleared. Now, if he had just angled up and face-hugged Patu, Patu couldn't have done squat against that guy. And here's the C75. Again, he's just going to absolutely scrub out. Bounces off of Patu's turret there, I guess. Definitely didn't bounce off the side of Patu because that, well, it's not exactly the strongest tank. Anyway, Patu can't quite get the weak spot on the E75 there just because he is up on the angle of that rubble. But, I mean, he's alone over here with this E75. His teammates are not with him. They're all clustered in the middle trying to fight off the advance of the enemy team there. Again, nowhere that Patu can hurt this E75. These tanks really doing Patu in. But Patu does manage to take out the guy's engine, gets those shots into the lower plate there, all because the E75 messed up his own angle. Didn't fire a shot in return at Patu. I don't know what he was up to. But this LTTB, God bless him, comes flying in like that out of hell, jumps over the rocks, gets himself absolutely smashed, and that whole time Patu was out in the open, this E75 didn't shoot him. So, I mean, like you guys can see, when I said I have no way to explain this at the start of the match, I mean, you can see why. It is now a 4 versus 2. And Patu's going to pick up the kill here on the E75 TS, who just gave his rear end to a very dangerous tank. I mean, it's an annihilator. Even if you're new to the game, you surely come across one of these and you know what they can do. Takes a nasty, nasty shot there from the Panther as he's crossing, catches the Chi-Ri with his pants down, kills him off. Bye-bye Chi-Ri, you go back to the garage. His teammate has taken care of the other tank, and now it is just a Panther versus 2 tanks. So, despite all odds, Patu and his team have managed to pull out a victory here, and a very good job to that T-54. He was over this side from the start of the match, holding off this entire advance from the enemy team. And Patu is just going to finish off the match just like that, and, well, help his team win. And that was not an easy match to win. That could have gone south in so many different ways, especially if the enemy team had been smarter. 3,822 damage with 5 kills and another ace mastery. So, thank you for sending these replays into me, Patu. I enjoyed watching them. I hope everybody else watching this also enjoyed watching Patu's replays here. And until next time, stay safe, use cover, cheers.